Hey, I'm Coach Fowler, and we're back for the 2025 season. Let's film study. Week 3 of the preseason 2025, and we have the New York Jets versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And we're going to take a look at what amounts to a really routine play. Okay, this is sort of a vanilla play. But first, let's take a look at the situation. It's 1st down and 10. The Jets have the ball on their first drive. All right. And their personnel grouping is 1 running back, 2 tight ends right here, 1, 2. So that's 12 personnel. All right. And then the formation using our naming convention is going to be cut wing 31. Okay. Cut wing 31. The backfield set is just dot back. All right. Remember, we call this dot back because the running back is in a position that if there was a lowercase I drawn through the quarterback through this backfield, the tailback would be at the dot. Okay. All right, so we're going to get motion here. And as we get motion, we've got a new formation now. Now, by the way, I would call that not motion, but actually a trade. The difference between a motion and a trade is that there's a reset, okay? A motion technically happens and the ball is snapped before the motion player becomes set. This is a reset, so we would call this a trade. So it's a tight end trade. Now we have a new formation, all right? Now, traditionally, this is called ace, all right, or ace off, or ace wing. But using our naming convention, we would call this cut still here, right? On here for the tight end. So now we have cut on, and there are 2 over here. And then we have off over here and 2 over here. So cut on, 2, 2 off. Cut on, 22 off. All right, the running back stays in dot position there. All right. Now, for the Eagles, we're going to see that they are in some sort of a 2 high safety look. You can see both safeties are deep, right? So that means we have a 7-man box. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and let this run through, but you can see down here at the bottom, quarters coverage. Okay. This corner is off to the top. We have a pressed corner, which indicates that this is a split field coverage. We've got cover 4 to the bottom, cover 2 to the top. All right. Some people call this cover 6 in the college ranks. Some people call this cover 7. I've heard it called cover 9, but what's important to note is that because we have 2 high safeties, that if we have a split field coverage, they both have to be in the cover 2 family, right? Which means it's either 2 or 4. It can't be anything else. You can't have cover 3 on one side and cover 2 to the other side. You can have cover 4 to one side and cover 2 to the other side, which is what we have here. All right. Now, this is an inside zone. And one thing I want you to watch, you can see it really well from this angle, but you can see the eyes of the running back from the other angle. Watch the running back's path. Okay, right now he's aimed for the butt of this tight end here. Okay, his first read is this tight end's block. If this tight end does a good job kicking out this player, then he'll run inside his butt. If the tight end gets a hook or a seal on this defensive end, then the running back will go outside of that. So his first read is that. So the defensive end shows up outside there, as you can see. The running back now takes his read to the next man in line, and we'll see that better from the other angle. But I want you to watch the path of this running back change a couple times throughout the play. So he's headed in one direction, boom. He sticks his foot in the ground. Now he's headed in a different direction. Boom. He sticks his foot again, headed in another direction. That's because on this play, the running back has multiple reads depending on what the first read and the second read are. Okay. Now we're going to go look at this from the other angle. You can see that flag, and we'll see where that comes from. Okay, one thing to note up front. All right, we'll watch this. As soon as the ball is snapped, I want you to see the defensive lineman's feet. Boom. Okay. You see the base on the end here, the nose guard here, this end here, and this outside linebacker, how they all have a good wide base. And notice how 96 does not. You see how 96 has a very narrow base, and I'm going to show you why. His first step, watch this. He steps, this is what we call stepping under yourself. All right. His first step doesn't actually gain any ground in a positive direction. What he wants to do, if he's stepping with his right foot first, is step to the right and forward. Right. But instead, he actually steps his foot underneath himself, right, in the opposite direction. And now he's crossed up. Okay. And that makes him really susceptible to getting basically tossed. And he does get tossed here. The offensive lineman gets called for it because, as you can see, this offensive lineman has an underhook on 96's left arm here and just lateral drops him. In wrestling, that is a lateral drop. Okay. In football, that is illegal because he's got him wrapped up. But he tosses him. But that starts with 96's feet. Now, From a linebacker standpoint, here's what I want you to see. We have one back and a 7-man box. Okay. So in a 7-man box, it's one back, 2 gaps. All right. So that means that 42 Burke right here has either this C gap or this A gap, depending on where the running back goes. Trotter, same thing. He's got this A gap here. All right. Or he's got whichever gap is left over here, which is probably going to be this C gap all the way out here. Okay. And as you can see, what they're doing is they're midpointing those gaps. So they're equidistant between those 2 gaps that are their responsibilities. All right. So that allows them to play either one once the ball is snapped and they get their read. See how they both step to the right because that's where the running back goes. All right. Now, right away, Burke's got this gap, C gap. Trotter's got this A gap. Okay. But I want you to notice how they both do such a good job of not overcommitting to these gaps and basically staying alive. Watch Burke here. He's going to get cut off from his gap. So he does what I call ear hole. He's going to try to drive his guy into his gap, then play back. As he plays back, the running back sees him now show in this gap right there. Now the running back has to make his cut off of that, and he sees an opening back here. Well, I want you to see Trotter does the same thing here. Trotter ear holes, boom, and then rocks back into that gap. So this is a really good job by 2 linebackers who understand I may have one particular gap based on my read here, but I'm going to stay alive. I'm not going to be a robot, right? And they're basically doing the exact same thing that the running back is doing. They're just mirroring the running back's reads. They're seeing where the open gap is and showing up in it. And that's a great job right there. I'll tell you what, Jeremiah Trotter, I know he's in a battle right now for this position with Jihad Campbell. All right. But Trotter is a pretty polished player. This is a great job rocking back into that A gap and making this tackle. All right. So there you go. Inside zone, 7-man box. We got a potential for 2 gaps pre-snap. Once the ball is snapped, we do have our gaps declared, but these 2 do a good job of staying alive and being able to rock back to make this play. All right. Till next time.